As we all may already know, Forsaken has had and still has some balancing problems, but I recently found a problem that not many talk about, and it is when a bunch of guests, mostly when there are 3 or more, the killer experience becomes quite frustrating. Now, let me elaborate. Basically, whenever the survivors have a lot of guests, the round instantly becomes heavily survivor-sided, and the reason for this is because of how unbalanced guest is when he is used in a mass with other guests. Guest has 3 abilities. 1. His block ability can block half of all the killer abilities in the game, which include melee and dashes specifically. And if you successfully block, you get your punch ability, which I will explain later. And he is also granted resistance 5 for the duration of the block, which basically makes him immortal. His charge ability is primarily and supposed to be used to push back the killer either from yourself or from your teammates. During the duration, Guest is applied with resistance 5, which just like his first ability, makes him immortal for the duration. Of course though, if you charge and you're not nearby the killer, you will get slowness 2, and the duration is dependent on how far away you are from the killer. 3. His punch ability can be used in 2 ways. The first way is to use it right after you obtain it, after you successfully block an attack, which is called a parry. Or you can hold on to it when you get it and use it later, but the stun time for a regular punch will be half as bad than the parry punch. Guest also has 115 HP, making him the tankiest survivor in the game, which can only be surpassed by a lucky chance. He also has hit priority, so when he is in a crowd of survivors, if the killer isn't a slasher or guest 666, only the guest takes the damage of the attack. And now that you know what he can do, let me start explaining why an army of guests is so incredibly unbalanced. The first problem is their abilities, which I will 100% agree that his abilities are absolutely balanced, but when put into an army of guests, his abilities start feeling extremely unbalanced and almost impossible to deal with. Let's start with his block ability. In a round with 1 or 2 guests, the block ability feels like an "oh my, I deserve being blocked and parried by that guest for how oblivious I was while playing as the killer." But when there are literally 3+ guests, it gets stupid. Literally every killer can't use their abilities at all with how many guests there are. And with the short 24-second cooldown the ability has, it just makes the game straight up unplayable. Then we have the charge ability, which doesn't do much in a guest army, since if you hit a killer with charge that has already been charged into within the last 15 seconds, the guest will take 15 damage, which is definitely fair. But it still means that with the charge cooldown being about 35 seconds, that means you'll be getting charged into about 4 times in 1 minute, which will be very bad, especially against killers like Guest 666, John Doe, and Slasher. And the punch ability is basically an ordinary stun, just like Shed Let's See Slash or 2x Dagger, so I don't have anything to complain about it. The thing is, the more sentinels there are, the less the killer will be stunned for, and the round of 8 sentinels can't even stun the killer, but a guest is special, because his block isn't considered as a stun, so it gets 0 nerfs, which is honestly so dumb. This one ability can counter every killer, even making some absolutely helpless if against a decent guest. And once even more people find out about guest armies and what they're capable of, they'll run a team with 6 guests and 2 support of any kind. This is how stuns still work, and they have support to back them up. And you'll probably start saying something like, "Oh, you have a skill issue, what a loser!" And I must say that you are totally wrong. There is almost no one that can go against that many guests as the killer. You'd gotta have like 100 days of playtime to do that. And it's even worse when the guests are actually a good team. Worst part, there is not a single killer that can slightly counter an army of guests. Slasher, he is a male exclusive killer, which means that all of his moves trigger a block, and nobody's gonna fall for that raging pace block bait. Black Hole Kid sure has a fast M1 and corrupt energy, but walk speed over can easily be reacted to and blocked, and his minions can just be killed with one punch or a charge. John Doe, he has the slowest M1, which makes it easy to block. Corrupt energy can just be blocked to avoid all damage. You only really got digital footprints, which may not be very much in a coordinated team. Noli, his M1s is not the slowest, yet still very reactable. Void Star, in my experience, is easily dodgeable, and Void Rush will get blocked, and your only real bet is to teleport and Void Rush to ambush survivors. 1x, slow M1s, Mass Infection is blockable at close range. If players caught by entanglement, guests will go to them and defend with blocks and charges, and minions can easily be killed. Guest 666, easily loopable, slow M1s, mid abilities. If guests prevent him from hitting Eviscerate in the Monk Pursuit, which can both be blocked, he can't really do anything without Blood Hunt. Nosferatu, he is really the only killer not to get directly countered by guests, but still, he has a slow M1 and his abilities are very predictable and easy to dodge. Anyways guys, that is all I have to say in this video. Remember, this is all my opinion and you can share your opinion in the comments. Anyways, smash that like and subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notifications button so you don't miss out on any peak videos that I upload. Bye bye to everyone and have a spectacular rest of your day.